Okay, hello everyone. This is Professor Cain, and I'm coming to you via Zoom because I've had so many of my wonderful students request that I make this available, so I thought I would make it available to everyone. This is a brief Zoom meeting presentation so that I can go over the steps for the research article project for our class, okay? This is for general psychology, and I will begin. All right, so we're going to do screen share. And I'm going to take you to student view. And this is what it looks like. This might not be exactly your class, but this is exactly the format. I go to modules. We go to research article project where you will place your actual project. Okay. And here we have a pull down that shows you all of the things that are in the this particular area. This is where you will actually submit your research article. Okay, we'll get back to this in a moment. All right. Now, for now, what we are going to do is we are going to go through the fact that we already have gone through this in class, that there's a difference between scholarly articles and popular articles, and that there's also a difference between popular versus scholarly. You might say, well, what's the difference? So we're going to actually take the time to look at this particular video. Okay.
Popular and scholarly sources. At the end of this module, you'll be able to identify the difference between a scholarly source and a popular source. Often, your professor will require that your paper or project use a variety of sources. The list might be something like 2 scholarly sources, 2 popular sources, and 2 books.
Now, for our purposes in our class, we only need one scholarly source, and it must be from a periodical or journal. So it's coming from an actual journal. It is not coming from a book.
You're already familiar with popular sources. They're written for the general public. They're often written by journalists, and they report on current topics and events. Their purpose is to entertain or persuade, and the writing style is non-technical and conversational. Many library databases contain articles from both popular and scholarly sources. When you're looking at types of databases, general databases and newspapers are both going to have popular resources. For example, if I want to use the general database Academic Search Complete and look for fraternities and binge drinking, I get 52 results. If I want to see
Now, this is exactly what we have in our library databases, which is EBSCOhost, and I will show you how to go to that after this video.
just the popular sources, I can limit to just magazines. And that narrows my results down to about 21 hits.
Notice she's on the far left side of the screen. That is the same way that EBSCOhost is listed in our database for the district libraries.
I've gone back to the original set of 52 results, and now I want to limit to just scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. And say I only want the last 5 years of scholarship. So when I run that search, it significantly limits it. I only got about 5 hits of the last scholarship. And let's figure out what makes these scholarly articles. The third article looks particularly interesting, so I'm going to open up that record. I can see the record as subject headings I could follow to find more articles on my topic. But for now, I'm going to open up the full text PDF. So you can see this article shows the author's affiliations. It has an abstract. It may also have particular authors' accreditations. It's going to have in-text citations citing the sources used.
Now, for our purposes, because we are not writing a full paper, we're just writing a project which encompasses just some parts of APA style paper. Keep that in mind as she goes through the rest of the video. It's almost over.
Depending on the discipline, you may also find graphs and charts. The language used is going to be technical. And at the end of a scholarly article, you'll always find a list of references.
Now I'm going to stop here because this is a key indicator that you're looking at an article that can be used for your purposes, which is the discipline of psychology. because it actually lists the references. Notice it does not say bibliography. That's for MLA style. For APA style papers, it says references. And it has along the margin, which in this case is left justified, it has the first line left justified, and all of the lines that follow for that particular citation is what we call a hanging indent. So just seeing how the references are listed is a clear indicator that you're on the right track. This is an APA style written article.
So this is a list of features for scholarly sources. They're written for and by the academic community, often people with PhDs. They tend to report on research. They've usually gone through a peer review process. Their purpose is to educate. The writing style tends to be technical, and they always have a bibliography or a list of references.
Now, she just used the term bibliography, but we will use the term in the subheading to say reference because we're looking for references. We're doing APA style.
In summary, you should now be able to tell a popular source from a scholarly source using the criteria listed.
Okay, now that's available to you because it's in the module for references. Okay, so we're going to go back to the module. Pull this down here so I can get it out of the way. Now, since we've gone over, I'm not going to go over scholarly versus popular. You can do that on your own time. This is the first example that is listed in the module. Okay, it is actually in the module in our class. So let's go to it. Okay, now it has the actual typing of the words running head : capital R is the only capitalization in this heading. Then it has millennial masculinity redefined. This is incorrect because all of these should be in capital letters. Okay, it should be no more than 50 characters in length, but all of these letters should be capitalized. Okay, so Professor Cain probably needs to fix that. Okay, then this is my title, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 words or less. Here I have 11. Then you put the name of your name, being that you're the author of this particular paper that you're submitting, and then your affiliation. My affiliation is the name of my own personal company, Mommy Publications. Okay, again, this should be all capitalized. It's correct in the next example. Because you put this, whether you're using Microsoft Word or Google Docs, you're going to make sure to put it in the insert section of the software so that you don't have to repeat that, but it automatically paginates to each page. And in this case, our research article project is 3 pages. This is the first page, running head and the title. This is also missing the page number. The page number should be here. You might be like, well, Professor Cain, why you give us something with all the errors in it? This is why I'm making the video, because I noticed these errors after I downloaded it. Page 2, this automatically goes on it because it's paginated in insert in the software. You actually put the heading word abstract. That is what it should say. Notice it's in block format. And if you actually read the wording here, it will tell you exactly what an abstract should contain. No more than 120 words. Remember that the reader may not know about the topic you are educating them about. So it's important that it is comprehensive in its explanation, that it has the most important points from the article that you have read. It should be contained in this comprehensive explanation, and it should also be short. Now, the first 4th edition of the publication for APA style writing was 120 words maximum for an abstract. But to be clear, for the 6th edition, which is the most current, students are allowed to write up to 250 words. So I am asking that you write no more than 120 words for our project. But I want you to know, for future reference, the current 6th edition APA allows you 250 words. But for our project, we're only doing 120. Then we have in italics the word keywords. If you only have one word, you'll put keyword. But most of the time it says keywords in italics, and then you are grabbing the most important words to identify what's in this abstract. First of all, it's about an article. It is the abstract, and 120 words is very important. This is very important that you put this at the end of your abstract, because things are so digitized today. Most information, it will be asking and pulling from this line of code, so that when you type in your Boolean search, article abstract 120, it will pull up this particular article. I hope that was clear. This is the second page, abstract. The third and last page for our project will be the reference page. Now, you're only being required to have one article, so it should say reference, singular. But because in this demonstration, it shows more than one, I have the plural of references. You will have the last name of each author in the article. All initials have a period, and then once you're finished the list of names, you will put a comma after each name. Once you're finished, excuse me, you will then have in parentheses the year of publication. Unlike MLA, which gets the month and the day, in APA, you're just writing the year. Then you write in regular typeset the name of the article. However, the name of the journal the article is in, that is italicized. Also in italics is in parentheses the volume number. Then next to the volume number, you have the number of the article that's in the journal, comma, then how many pages, the page numbers. If, however, your article has a DOI, better known as Digital Object Identifier, which most digitized articles have today, you don't need to write all of the above information. You will write the name of the authors, the year of publication. In italics, you will write the name of the article, page numbers, and you will put the DOI. The DOI will then take the person who cuts and pastes that information into the URL, and the article should come up automatically. This is definitely not how you do it, and I'm giving myself a plug for my book, but that I have not published yet, so don't go looking for it. But this would be how you would cite a reference if it is a book that people can find online, like an ebook, but in this case, that's not what we're doing. And then finally, this is how you will write something that does not have a DOI, which is very irregular, but this is how you would cite it. So most of you, your citations will look like this because you're getting them off of the internet. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and show you where you should go if you are a student that is attending a class in West LA. You go to this tab here. This is library resources. Because we have such wonderful people in our distance learning department, they've already taken the topic that we are studying, which is psychology. And then you will scroll down to where you get to EBSCO Psychology and Behavioral Sciences Database. You will click where it says here. Then you will follow the instructions to set up your username and password. Once you do that, you save it into your hardware. I've already saved it. And here you are. This is the search line for EBSCO hosts. So now you can go ahead and type in whatever you are going to research. In this case, I'm going to research intelligence. Okay. And I'm interested in the intelligence of, let's say, transgender, because now I'm looking at sex, and another specifier identifier would be transgender, she, her pronouns. I'm interested in people that are from the background of Catholics, which is religion. I'm just picking out specifiers. I'm going to pick people who are in the city of New York, giving demographics. And then I'm going to look at their socioeconomic background. So I'm going to say people of affluence. I'm just grabbing stuff. And this is my search. Notice this is under my Boolean phrase. I get 5,749 results. Amazing. You'd be amazed at the things that are being researched. Well, I personally don't have the time or desire to go through almost 6,000 articles. So I'm going to look over here on the left-hand side as the video instructed, and I'm going to do some limitations. Okay. I want them to be full text. I want them to be peer reviewed from other scholars. Now I'm down to 5,187. Okay, but that's still too many for me. So just like in the video, I'm going to put the most recent, since it goes all the way out to 2021, this database, I'm going to take it to 2016. And now I have the last 5 years of information. Now it has cut it down to almost half, but I'm still not that satisfied with that amount of information to have to go through. This says all results. Well, I just want academic journals. Remember, I don't want popular. I don't want book reviews. Now I'm down to 2,828. Yikes. Okay, looks like I'm going the wrong direction. And now I want to look at subject. And I'm going to show all of the subjects that are interested in this particular. Am I just interested in the United States? No, I'm going to take it out globally. Am I interested in descriptive stat, human sexuality, psychology? Psychology. So now, okay, I'm down to 246, and these should all be articles in journals of psychology. Let's look at the publishers. Okay. Do I want any particular publisher? I think I will leave it as it is. Even though it has Taylor and Francis, I'm not even sure what group of publishers that is, but I'll keep it there. Publication, American Journal of Public Health, AIDS, Sexual and Relationship, Child Welfare, Behavioral Medicine, Internal Review of Psychiatry. I definitely don't want that. So I want to get even more specific. I don't want public health, social work, education, Journal of Behavioral Medicine. Don't want that. Brief Journal of Social Psychology. So as I go through this again, I am looking primarily for I'm looking not just primarily, but for journals in psychology. So I want to make sure that's it. Social psychology, that's okay. Journal of Psychology, Journal of Clinical Psychology, Psycho-oncology, that's psychology and cancer. That might be kind of interesting. But as you go through this list, this is giving you an opportunity to be much more specific, and thereby what we call specifiers are being indicated as we go through this very long list. As you can see, we're only halfway through. Social work, sexuality, disability. I'm going to click that. That might be interesting. And as I go through British Journal of Health Psychology, I'm always interested in health psychology. Clinical psychology, dealing with people that diagnose. Asian Journal of Social Psychology, that might be interesting. Am I interested in child development? Not for this particular paper. Counseling and psychotherapy research. It's only one article, but I'll go ahead and I'll pick it. And I'm almost through, as you can see. Journal of Community Psychology. That might be interesting. So let me just keep going. Definitely not interested in psychiatry or just the biological processes. That'll tip me more into medicine. And now I'm through my list and I'm going to update. I am down to 19 articles. Okay, I'm willing to go through 19 articles. So we'll look at this one. Depressive vulnerability, gender dysphoria. If I look at this, I have an article that has 10 pages. and this is something that I might be interested in. So I go ahead and I select the PDF because this is part of your research article project. And now I will have a full PDF text of this topic: childhood abuse, depressive vulnerability, and gender dysphoria. Notice they too have an abstract. All I have to do is read this abstract because it is comprehensive, it is brief, and it gives me an explanation of what's going to be in the rest of this article. If I don't find it interesting, then I go ahead and back out and I go to the next article. If I do find it interesting, I can go ahead and I can print it out. Finding a trans affirmative provider: challenges faced by trans and gender diverse psychologists and psychology trainees. That might be interesting to you. Abstracts of the 13th Annual Conference of the American Psychosocial Oncology Society. Don't know about that one. Investigating the social cultural models with cultural experiments, a Polish English study on in-gender relations. I might find that interesting. And I have 19 of these that I can peruse through to find the one that is most interesting to me. And once I do find an article, again, I pull up the PDF full text. I know it's from a journal of psychology because that's what I put in my specifiers, just to be sure. At the end of the page, it'll say European Journal of Social Psychology. That's a hit. Sometimes it will list the name of the journal at the top. Sometimes it will list it at the top here, or it will list it at the bottom. Once I have my articles, say for example, I decide, you know what, I like this one. I'm going to download it. I'm going to use the download, not the print. And then I'm going to place it somewhere so that I will be able to utilize it. And I'm going to say, this is test for Zoom recording. I'm going to put it on my desktop and I'm going to save it. Now I'm finished with EBSCOhost, and you might want to download several articles so that you can read them and compare. And now I'm going to go back to, oops, not library consultations. Now I am going to go back to my module. And this is then I go ahead and I read my article. I construct my essay. My abstract. And once I have done that, now I go ahead and I can use Google Docs, or I can use Microsoft Word, whatever, so that I can go ahead and I can begin writing my abstract. Okay, let me go here and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Microsoft Word because I don't want everybody to know everything what's going on in my Google Docs. So I'm going to go to Microsoft Word. And I'm going to get a blank document. And now I'm going to begin writing my paper because I have read the article, highlighted the areas that I found were important. And now I'm ready to write my title page. So I go to Insert, Header, oops. And now I begin to write, okay? Oops. Colon. And it's going to be transgender, whatever my top is going to be, transgender. I forgot what it was about, but this is good. All right, transgender. I'm done with my header. And now I want to get my page numbers. Okay. Now for that, I think it is not layout. It might also be insert. Yeah, insert is also page number. And I want my page number to be at the top of the page to my right. Okay, so here I've gone ahead and I've done that. Now I'm out of the header. Go back to home, come out of the header. And now I'm going to paginate down so that I am the middle part of my paper. Okay, and if I'm not, I can always fix it. Okay, and here's my title, transgender, etc., etc. I'm not sure what I wrote. Okay, then I'm going to put the author, and I'm going to put the affiliation. In this case, this is a West Los Angeles class. Now it has to be centered. And now I'm good to go. I've got my header, I've got my page number, and I have my title. Okay. Now I'm going to make another page. So I have to make a page break. And I think that's here. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. Once you save this, okay, I'm now ready to save it. All righty, go here. I'm going to save it as, I don't know what I'm going to call it, transgender, et cetera, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. Okay, now I'm not going to save it as this document. I'm actually going to save it. Let me pull this up a bit, as a PDF. Okay, and does it allow me to do that down here? Here we are. We're going to save it as a PDF. All right, and it should go on my desktop. Now I'm finished with Word. I don't have to save it as a Word document. Now I'm going to go back because I'm ready to, I've read it, I've written out my abstract, I've cited my citations, which I probably should show that as well. And I am ready to go. I'm ready to download it. Okay. Let me show you how to cite it as well. Okay, so I really should go back, but this is a PDF and I didn't save the other one. So when you are citing, but no, I did. I talked about citation, how it is on the reference page. And there's also these things in here to show you the example. Okay, if you go to 6th edition, it will give you examples on how to make citation for your reference page. Okay, now this is 9 minutes long,
To set
so
up your Microsoft Word document according to the 6th edition of the APA manual, first click on the Page Layout tab.
now once it gets to reference page, which is right about in here,
Exit the page header area, double click on the word header or anywhere.
yeah, it's still talking about header. I want to get you to, and some of this will involve instructions on how to type content and citations in text, but we're not doing an actual paper, we're doing a project. So we want to get to reference page, and I think he's there now. Okay,
You may need to type a publication title.
actually, let me back up a little bit. Here we go.
Each by themselves after the body of your paper. Next, go to the Home ribbon and click on the Center Alignment tool. Return to your document and type in the word References in the middle of the page. Then hit Enter one time. Once again, click on the Home tab and select Left Align to align all of your text to the left. Now type in the information for each source, beginning with the author's last name, followed by a comma, then the initial of the author's first name, followed by a period. Now comes the date of publication inside parentheses and followed by a period.
And that'll be just the year.
Now type in the title of the source you got your information or quotation from. Remember, in APA, the title of the source is not capitalized except for the first word of the title or any proper noun. Following the title of your source, you may need to type a publication title if your article was published inside a magazine, journal, newspaper, or book. When typing the title of a publication, be sure to italicize it. First, highlight the title, Then go up to the Home tab and click on the I for the italics tool. Place a comma after this title and continue entering any information needed, including the periodical's volume number and issue number if provided, followed by a comma, then inclusive page numbers. For hanging indention, highlight the line or lines you wish to indent, then go up to the Hanging Indent triangle on your top margin. Left-click on the triangle and drag it to the ½ mark. To begin your next reference, hit the Enter Return key, being sure to maintain double spacing for all of your sources and in between them. Online sources are used frequently today. One of the most common types is the online journal article. For this type of source, simply add the DOI, or Digital Object Identifier, at the end of the citation. A DOI is a unique number assigned to the online content. If the source you are referencing has not been assigned a DOI, use the homepage URL for the online journal, magazine, newsletter, or book that you used in your paper. Be sure to follow the APA formats for the type of source that you are citing. These formats can be found beginning on page 193 in the APA 6th edition.
Okay, so since you have that, that's also in the module, you can look at the entire thing to help you with your paper or project article, excuse me. So the important thing that I want you to keep in mind is that all this is available to you in Canvas. It gives different examples. It actually has here a research topics list if you choose to follow it. This is just me giving you different things that you can write about. Lots of professors will give this to you, especially if they're doing dissertation work, because you actually then they give you the topic to research, and that gives them lots of available articles because their students are finding things that perhaps they can include with their dissertation work. But I like to leave it open for you. As you can see, this is interest for myself. And I just want to take you to one that's pretty interesting. And this is the one on phobias. It has a hyperlink in it. And when you go to phobias, you will see that it has tons of information, okay, for different kinds of phobias. For example, let's take you to arachnophobia, say, for example, which people are very familiar with, mostly fear of spiders. Well, this takes you to fear of spiders and you can research about it, but keep in mind that this is not from a journal article or periodical, but this is just a topic to see if you're interested in it, and you can do a little reading on it. Okay. I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you about this. Oh, I know what I can do. I can take you back to the module, because now you've done your reference page, you've done your abstract, and you have done your title page. So now you are ready to actually submit your paper. You go to start assignment. You have until October, whatever the date is for your class. It could be in the spring or whatever. And now you're going to go down. You've hit start assignment and you pulled yourself down here. And this is the rubric to help you understand what, and this is also in the module under reference, is the rubric, so that you can see what it is that I'm going to be grading you on and what should be contained in your research article project. Okay, you've done your page number and header, you've done your title with your author's name and your affiliation, your abstract page, your reference page, and the last not most important, but one of very big important parts is just downloading the full PDF article itself. So you've done all of that, and now you are ready to upload a file. You're going to go here and you're going to choose. In my case, it's going to be on the desktop. Okay. And I forgot what we called it. Test or something like that. No, I don't want this. I think here it is. It's called Test for Zoom recording. Yes. So this is the actual article, but I want to put the test for, I want to first put my paper. Some people will put the article first. I would prefer you did it afterwards, but since I can't remember what I named it, I'm just going to grab this one right here. That's on the desktop. Actually, hold on. I can kind of cheat here and see what it's called. LATTC PDF. This is me with my lack of technical expertise. It should have popped right up on my desktop, but I'll grab this, okay, and say that this is it, okay, LATTC PDF. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm going to grab it. Ooh, this is some students' information. That's not cool. All right, I'll just grab this. So this will be, for example, my title page, my abstract, and my reference page. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. Okay. Then I'm going to hit another one because I'm going to download my article. Okay. And I'm going to choose that. And I know people are going, this woman doesn't remember the name. So this is for my Zoom recording, and this is my full PDF article. And now I'm going to, well, this is a file I've already uploaded. That's not the case, but you might want to use that. It's easier. Then I agree that this is my work, and then I submit. Now, I have now submitted my 3-page project, and yay. And I've also submitted my tests, my full PDF article. So now, as an instructor, I'm going to come out of Leave Student View. I can go here and I can look at these submissions when I go to grade it. And here it is. Here's my PDF so that Professor Cain can just quickly go through it and look and grade it. Here is my pretending that that's what that was, because I couldn't remember what I did. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you 24 points because this is of the correct source. I might actually read, most of the time I do read the abstract to see if the abstract that you have here is going to also have some reference in the abstract that you actually wrote. You will get your grade, and voila, I will submit. Okay. Now, that is in its entirety the research article project for my general psychology classes. I hope this was helpful and that you find it beneficial, and will work very hard to get the research project articles so I can review it and just make for certainty that it is the right source. Other than that, I wish you the best and make sure that you follow the due date. Ashe.